Hey all, welcome back, and thanks for being here. Today we're reading some more Reddit stories from Am I the A-hole subreddit. If you enjoy Redtastic content, consider subscribing and let's begin. My mother, 60 female, and I, 39 female, have always had what could charitably be called a tumultuous relationship. During my childhood, she was physically and emotionally abusive to the point that I moved out at 16 with the assistance of a counselor at school. With some work, I managed to forgive her for her actions and worked on rebuilding a relationship with her, though it will never be a true and healthy mother-daughter relationship. Recently, she has decided she wants to move back to her home country to be close to my sister and where the cost of living is more cheaper for her retirement salary. To do this, she will need to sell her house and take care of affairs before moving out of the country. She has asked me if she can live with me after selling her house until she moves. This would likely be a few months. My unwillingness to do this is not really based on our past together, but more on her continued pattern of being absolutely crazy. Some examples. In August, I drove up to the state where she lives, also the state where my children live, though she has no involvement with them when I'm not around. We'll get to that shortly. I had just adopted a dog, Penny, from the shelter and brought her with me. She's an excellent road trip dog. One of the days that I went to visit my kids, who live about 2 hours away from her, she offered to watch the dog so that we would have more freedom in where to go and what to do. The first day she did this, there were no issues. She sent me a few pictures and said Penny was missing me but was doing fine. I returned to my mom's house that evening and mentioned that I would be going to see my kids again. My mom offered to keep Penny again while I did so. While my kids and I were at lunch, roughly 3 hours after I left the house, I texted my mom to ask how Penny was doing. She texted me back and told me that the dog was missing. She said it had run away when she turned her back for just a moment. And at that moment, she is searching for the dog with a boyfriend. I was upset, but figured I have to finish lunch with my kids, take them home, and drive back to help look for Penny. Throughout the lunch, my mother was texting me frantically, keeping me updated on the search, which so far was fruitless. I explained to my kids the situation, and they were very understanding about me cutting that day's visit short, and urged me to go look for Penny. I told my mother that I was on my way back home and began the drive back. Throughout the drive, she kept texting me. My phone connects to my car, and my car reads out my messages, asking me why I wasn't there yet. So I reminded her that it is a 2-hour drive, and I was on my way back. She asked how I could do such a thing to Penny, leaving her behind all day, 4 hours at this point, and that I should be ashamed of myself, etc. Then I got the fateful text. When I was about 20 minutes from her house, she texted me to tell me that they had found Penny. She had been hit by a car and was dead. I was hysterical. I pulled off the next exit, shaking, and I called her to find out what had happened. She said that her boyfriend had found Penny a couple of streets away and that she was not actually completely dead, but was holding on by a thread. I was crying hysterically at this point. I was devastated. She cried along with me. I could hear that she was genuinely upset for me. I asked her to take her to the animal hospital just down the road, but she said she was afraid to move her. So I raced home to see my dog. I should mention that my mother was hosting a barbecue for some of her friends. When I walked into the house, there were many people there, laughing and drinking. Immediately, my spidery senses began tingling. My mother led me to the back bedroom to see Penny. Penny was perfectly fine. Not only was she fine, she had never gone missing in the first place. When I looked at my mother for an explanation, she was laughing hysterically. Apparently, this had all been her idea of a practical joke. Several people actually left the party because they were so upset with her when they realized what she had done, and I could barely bring myself to look at her, much less speak to her for the rest of my trip. The reason she's not involved with my 3 children is because, number 1, my ex-husband is well aware of her abusive history with me, and number 2, because of something she did while we were getting divorced. Early on, my ex and I agreed that it was best if he kept physical custody of the children, for a variety of reasons. The biggest reason, though, was that his family was the only family my kids knew, and I didn't have any family support in the area. Anyways, during the early days of the split, I was not coping too well. I was barely maintaining my sanity. As a result, things around the house went a little lacking. I'm not talking about filth or squalor. The house was simply messy. Toys everywhere, a day's worth of dishes in the sink. My mother called and said she was on my side of the state and asked if she could stop by. I told her I really didn't think it was a good idea. I wasn't feeling too well, the house was a mess. She has always been hypercritical of my messy tendencies, and I really didn't feel like walking on eggshells for 2 days while she visited. She promised that she just wanted to be there for me, to offer a sympathetic ear, and to spend time with the kids. So she came around, and while she was there, I did my best to tidy up a little now that I had a little free time. At one point, I was feeding the dog and knocked over the bag of dog food, spilling dog food on the floor. I grabbed my little hand gloves and cleaned up the mess. During her stay, she made a lot of comments about the condition of the house, the fact that the lid on the toilet seat was broken, that I had eggs for about a week past their due date in the fridge, the dirty dishes, etc. I told her I was doing the best I could, and she said little else, so she left 2 days later. About a week after she left, there was a knock on my door. As soon as I opened the door, my heart dropped. It was Child Protective Services. I only knew because it said so on his uniform. They had received a complaint that my children were being neglected. I knew immediately that my mother had called them, especially since he looked specifically at things my mother had called to my attention. He checked out the toilet seat, looked in the fridge, etc. He said that he couldn't see any glaring issues but asked that I should tidy up the house a bit more, and he would be back in a week. He did come back a week later and determined that there was no cause for concern, and that was the last I ever heard from CPS. Immediately after he walked into the house, I called my husband and told him what was going on. My husband showed up minutes after he left. He also knew immediately that my mother had been the one to make the call. So he called her and left her an extremely angry voicemail and promised her that she would never see the kids again. I called my mother later that day to ask her why she would do such a thing, and at first she denied it, but eventually confessed, saying that she thought I was being abusive to my children. No child should have to live with a broken toilet seat, and the fact that I vacuumed up the dog food instead of sweeping it up, I guess, pointed to the fact that I was mentally unstable. I tried to get her to see why her actions had hurt me and asked why she hadn't talked to me first if she was so concerned, but she just hung up on me. I didn't talk to her for months afterwards, and even then our relationship was extremely frosty. Those are just 2 examples of the kind of relationship I have with my mother, and it has been like this my entire life. To add to the fact that she's a raging alcoholic person, she was actually sober for 20 years, but fell off the wagon at some point after I moved out. For about a year, about 10 years ago, I was living with her while I worked with a grueling commute. I was paying child support and $400 a month in transportation costs, and my credit was devastated after the divorce, so I had no way of getting my own place. During that year, she was drinking heavily and often would come home drunk, having driven herself. We had a few major blowouts when she tried to leave the house drunk, but I refused to let her and took her keys. Eventually, I was able to move out because the atmosphere was just so toxic and she refused to acknowledge that she had a problem. In the last years since I moved out, we have slowly started rebuilding a relationship, though it is tenuous at best. Especially with things like the Penny incident still occurring, and the fact that she still drinks herself senseless almost every night. So it's probably pretty clear that there is no healthy way for my mother and I to live together. But, as ridiculous as it probably seems, I don't want to destroy our relationship. Is there any way to break the news to her in a way that doesn't make her hate me forever? Edit. Based on the perspective you have all given me, honestly, sometimes I couldn't help but wonder if I was somehow overreacting to my mother's actions. And you have helped me see that it really isn't just all in my head. I have decided to go no contact with my mother. I've decided not to even answer her question about moving in. She asked me in a Facebook message, and she can see that I've read the message and I'm not going to reply. Maybe that's a cowardly way out. I don't know, and I don't think trying to address the issue with her will be productive in any meaningful way. And I really don't owe her an answer. I've gone no contact with her before, but I'm starting to realize that maybe it's time to make it permanent. Update. After considering the input from my other thread, I decided my best approach for the time being was to initiate a silent, no contact period. I didn't tell her I was going no contact. I just didn't respond to her last message about moving in. She didn't try to message me or text me much, and on Christmas, I didn't hear from her. This didn't surprise me because I'm usually the one who initiates any holiday contact and even text her on my birthday, reminding her to tell me happy birthday. Anyway, on New Year's Eve, I had posted some pictures of a little smorgasbord that my sister had put together for the two of us along with her mother, my stepmother. My mother immediately commented saying, "Who cares?" followed by, "Happy New Year," and then didn't contact me anymore. I deleted those comments since I'm pretty averse to having that kind of drama on my Facebook page, and frankly speaking, it was pretty embarrassing for my mother, from my point of view anyway. Immediately after posting those comments in the span of about 5 minutes, she switched over to Facebook Messenger and said she was done with me. She said when I visit with my kids in the future, I should just stay at their place and don't even think of visiting her. She also mentioned that I shouldn't try to act sorry. It might be important to note that I didn't respond to any of these, though I didn't try to hide the fact that I was seeing her messages. She is fully aware of what that scene flag means. So I just let her rant away and she finished with, "Done. I'm done with you. Good luck with your life. I hope you're happier with your stepmother." Now, I don't know what specifically prompted this little meltdown of hers. She sounded far too coherent to have been drinking. Based on my experience, the only thing I can really figure out is that she saw it that I was spending New Year's Eve at my stepmother's and sister's house, and her long-run jealousy of my relationship with them finally boiled over. She has been silently angry because after my dad died 3 years ago, my stepmother used the insurance money to build a new house and gave me their old place to live in, rent-free, for as long as I choose to stay. She did this mainly to show her appreciation for the fact that I had given up my life in California to move closer to her after the death of my father so that I could take care of his affairs and all the legal stuff, and generally take care of the things my dad had always done for the family. My mother was outraged by the new house and the fact that I had been given the old house, and decided my stepmother had come into a great deal of money. My mother is thinking 7 figures, but it was in the very low 6 figures from my dad's death. And because my mother is delusional, she feels that she is somehow entitled to some of that, even though she and my dad separated when I was about 2. He met and married my stepmother several years after that. She figured out the picture was taken in the new house and became enraged that I was spending time with my stepmother and decided she is done with me. I can honestly say I felt no emotion about this other than mild bemusement and, honestly, a sense of relief. I haven't felt the urge to reach out to her. Everything went smooth, and in the weeks since I initiated my own no contact, I can honestly say I haven't had a single moment where I missed her presence in my life. Anyway, in the end, I feel good. I don't think our relationship will bounce back from this because I'm not intending to put any effort into fixing it. All the other fallouts we have had, I had gone to extraordinary mental lengths to forgive and forget. I do actually forgive her. I don't hold any ill will towards her, even if I have every right to. I am simply no longer interested in walking on eggshells to keep her in my life, so that she can wreak more havoc whenever the whim strikes next. OP, you have no control over who your parents are, but you do have control over who you socialize with. It's hardly a good relationship if you continuously walk on eggshells. If you're constantly initiating relationships, including notifying your own mother when your birthday is, it's probably not a relationship worth sustaining. Live your life to the fullest.